There we go. There we go. But yeah, I haven't played Phasmo. I think since last year I haven't played it. So I know they added some new stuff. I know they added some new stuff. Sorry, I'm a bit I'm a bit scatterbrained right now. Um, we're doing a different stream today, a different kind of stream today. We're going to do some Titanic exploration. Thank you, thank you. And Oodles and Raiders, if you need to raid and run, if you need to take off and do some after stream care, please feel free. Take care of yourselves if you need to. Um, yeah, we'll be here for I don't know how long we're gonna be here. I don't know what we're doing today. Today is the 113th anniversary of the sinking of Titanic. hmm And I am a big maritime nerd. I'm a big Titanic nerd. My model actually is loosely based. This is a newer model, loosely based off of the uniforms of Titanic's, or well, of the White Star Line. They didn't wear this on Titanic. This would have been somewhat similar, very embellished version of their dress whites. Yeah, yeah. Today is it actually? Well, today they hit the iceberg, and then they sank overnight. So it is actually tomorrow. The 15th is when they actually sunk. Yeah, yeah. So I'm a big maritime nerd. I think I'm gonna be over here. Yeah, let's be over here. Big maritime nerd, big Titanic nerd. This our chatting screen is actually based on the radio room, the where the Marconi wireless apparatus, the Morse, um, where they send Morse code signals to other ships, and where they sent their distress signal from. Yeah, this is what our chatting room is based off of, and our artist Jinx did a phenomenal job on it. And also, hello Ferris. I didn't see you. I didn't see you. Sorry, I didn't see your message. Welcome in, Ferris. So yeah, we're gonna be. There is a demo. There is a demo. Let me see if I can get rid of that controller. There we go. I think we're gonna be using mouse and keyboard of a game I'm looking forward to. That's called Titanic: Honor and Glory, and it is going to be probably the most accurate 3D rendering of Titanic. And there's going to be a game in it. There's going to be an exploration mode, which is what they kind of have. A part of the ship is available to explore and walk around. Um, but there also is going to be a actual game in the setting of Titanic. And the people making this game are very, very committed to accuracy, historical accuracy. They're actually very, very knowledgeable about not only the layout of the ship, but the history of the ship, the design choices, the engineering. So yeah, they're very, very knowledgeable, and not just about Titanic. They have the entire steamships, and sail ships. They're big history buffs, far more than I am, far more than I am. So they're making this game. I don't know if there's a release date. I know that they're working on it. This demo's been out for a while. I think about a year and a half. They've made several different ones. This is the latest one they have. But yeah, it's called Titanic: Honor and Glory. If you Google it, you can download the demo. So we're gonna explore it. Um, yeah. Let's see. Where are we gonna start? Let's start in the boiler rooms. Let's start in the boiler rooms. I don't think you can jump. I think you have to exit out to jump around, but that's okay. And I think I muted the music. It's very, very loud. So let me put on something. Let me know if there's anything up with audio, because of course I absolutely broke the audio before I started streaming. Um, oh, it does support Xbox, does it? That might be the better. That might better be the better mode. But yeah, I absolutely busted my audio before I started streaming. Put on some music. Let me know if anything sounds odd. I'm going to turn that down a touch. Let's see if Xbox works. Actually, that's not bad. The keyboard and mouse was like, I could tell it was going to be extremely touchy. Is there a way to invert? Movement speed's 1, field of view is 90. Invert y-axis, inverted. Let me know if that's too loud. I actually am going to turn it down another skosh. If that's too loud, I will happily turn it down. All right, yeah, the boiler rooms. The engineering plant is honestly one of the most interesting things to me about the Titanic, besides the people, obviously. Ooh, wow, this game chugs. They're definitely gonna have to optimize. It's already chugging, and we're just standing here. But yeah, the looks like these are the double-ended furnaces. Oh, we can go to the side. Cool, cool, cool. So these boilers are double-ended. These generate steam for the ship. Each side has furnaces. Can I crouch? I don't know if I can crouch. Doesn't look like we can crouch. Yeah, each boiler is double-ended. 24 of these boilers. They had 5 single-ended boilers. But the double-ended boilers, they had 3 furnaces on each side, excuse me. They'd fire them with coal. They'd have firemen or stokers stoking the coal into the boilers to generate steam. It's like 160-ish firemen on Titanic. They'd have 1 fireman per side of the boiler. So they'd have 8 firemen in here stoking, each one stoking 3 furnaces. And actually firing these boilers was a very, it was considered a it was considered highly skilled labor. It's not unskilled labor. They weren't just like yeeting coal in there. They had to make sure the fire was even throughout the furnace. And these furnaces are massive. So they had to keep the fire even. But they also had to fire them in such a way that they weren't opening the same doors on the opposite side. So if you're opening this door to fire it, like they wouldn't have all the doors open like this, unless they were just bringing up steam or something. But once they were in operation, they would have to open these doors on timing. They had to know what the other side was doing, because they didn't want to draw in air through these through the furnaces. They wanted to draw them through the bottom of the furnaces, not through the stoking holds. But yeah, this is considered actually skilled labor. It was a very high skilled, high technique job. It's like they got a pressure gauge, I think. I'm not sure what that is. I know that they would fire these up to 215 psi. That was their operating pressure. So I'm not sure. Maybe that's not in psi. Maybe that's why. So they would fire these up to 215 psi, and they wouldn't typically fire them lower. They could lower the steam on them. And actually here is a engine condition indicator that would tell them, they would light up to tell them, and there's a bell in there so that they know. It would tell them how, what to fire, and it would also tell them what condition to put the steam at. Oh, it's a golem. So they would underfire them, but really what they would do is they would just bring on more boilers online if they wanted to go faster, and take boilers offline if they wanted to go slower. But if they had all their boilers fired, they didn't have all their boilers fired when they hit the iceberg. But when they came to a stop, they would have wanted all these stokers to stop stoking. So then they wouldn't keep building up steam. Well, they would build up steam more slowly. They took a very, very long time to fire. So if you wanted to bring a boiler into operation, it'd be like 12 to 24 hours to bring a boiler online. They had to bring out slow. More modern boilers can operate a lot faster. These use high pressure. They don't have a they're not they don't have a superheater like modern boilers do, which makes firing them faster because they can generate a lot less. These had to generate a ton of steam compared to modern boilers to get the same amount of energy. Modern boilers use much more high pressure steam, like 4 or 5 times the pressure in Titanic's boilers, so they can generate a lot less of it. But yeah, the boiler room's cool. They would keep the coal in these bunkers between the compartments. So this is one of the coal bunkers. So the bulkhead runs across. This is like one of the watertight compartments of Titanic is where the boilers are. And in between each compartment, they would have the coal for the boilers that are firing. So that's what these chutes are. They're basically a big old wall of coal behind here. And this is one of Titanic's watertight doors. Oh, we're in boiler. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are in boiler room 6. So this is the most forward boiler room. They Titanic had 6 boiler rooms, and they were numbered 6 back to 1. So this is the most forward one because we have the fireman's passage here. This is how they would get out. They can get out this way. They could also climb straight out. Let's see if it lets us go this way. I didn't want to go through that way. We'll see. But yeah, they can go up, and then there'd be another ladder here, and then they could go out this way. So yeah, there's a door right there. I don't know if it opens or not. So this would go to Scotland Road. So Scotland Road ran basically the entire length of the ship. So basically once water got up to here, it could start moving throughout the ship. The ship was designed to not allow water to... Oh, that's cool. We're going to end up on the other side. Or we could. Oh, okay. But yeah, when you watch the Titanic, like, movies, like, you always see them. They of course did, try to get out through the watertight doors, but they wouldn't really need to because they could just go straight up. So when you saw them like diving under the watertight doors to get through, a lot of times that was not accurate because these watertight doors, they're governed. So they close slowly. But then in the last foot, they drop. They drop like a guillotine. So if you try to like sneak under them, your leg's gonna get caught and and the door's not gonna shut, and well, you're gonna be stuck there. But yeah, when they were hitting the iceberg, the officers closed the watertight doors from the bridge. Basically, all it is a electronic clutch. So they basically open the circuit so that electricity isn't flowing to the clutch. The clutch releases and lowers the doors, all of them. On Titanic, they couldn't shoot. It was all or nothing with the tank top on the very bottom deck. It was all or nothing with these doors. So when you open that clutch, there is a hydraulic system that will push this door down, and there's a clutch that will govern it and slow it so it's not just dropping down because this door is freaking massively heavy. So it would slow it down until it got to the last about foot, and then it would drop down like a guillotine. When that clutch is open, the doors cannot be reopened until it's reengaged. But once it's reengaged, they have to manually crank up the door, which also rebuild the hydraulic pressure and the hydraulics. The door can close with just gravity. It does not need the hydraulic system to function. And if the bridge didn't close the doors, there's this little, which is really cool. They have the float. There's a float here. There's a little cork. Well, not little. There's actually a big old hunk of cork little bit beneath the tank top. And when water fills that up enough, just like a toilet float, it will lift up the clutch. It'll disengage the electronic clutch, and it will drop the door. Same method, gravity. If the hydraulic system isn't working, hydraulics will push it down. The clutch will still govern the closing of the door. And this is the crank that they would use to reopen it. But they can only reopen it if that float was down, which they could have just weighed it down if they wanted to, and the electronic switch was open. But yeah, here's a fireman's passage. So this is going forward, I think, in the ship. I'm guessing this is a pump. Yeah, I'm guessing this is a suction to the yeah. So they can pump water out. Yeah, really cool. I think this is a chute where they would put ash, and they can flush ash out of the ship. They use water to flush. Once the furnaces are full of ash, they will they can extract the ash and then flush that out with seawater. And I think this is a hoist. I think this is a hoist to extract ash. When they're in port, they still need to make steam, but they can't flush the ash out in port. You don't want ships doing that because the ash is actually pretty nasty. It's full of all kinds of stuff you don't want in like a harbor water. In the ocean, it's not too big of a deal because the ocean's absolutely massive. Obviously, don't want to pollute, but it's not too big of a deal. It'll break down relatively quickly. But in a harbor, it's got nowhere to go and nowhere to kind of dilute. But yeah, in port, they would not flush the ash overboard. They'd also not try. They would try to fire as few boilers as possible so they don't have a huge ash problem. But yeah, cool. So forward. Let's go. Let's see how far. I don't know how far aft we can go. I know that the engineering plant was one of the things that they were still much working on, but wow, this is actually. Okay, yeah, there's 5. I'm sorry. I misspoke. So in the foremost compartment, because it's narrower at the front, they have fewer boilers. So they can only put 4 boilers in boiler room 6. And now we're boiler room 5. Oh, that's cool. You can see like all the way back. I wish you can crouch. Oh, you can. Nice. Nice. And you can zoom. Okay. How do I unzoom? Okay, that one. But yeah, so boiler room 5. Next boiler room back. Sorry, there's a game is a little bit kind of touchy on the controls. That's okay. Yeah, these boilers aren't fired. Okay. So yeah, they only have, or wait, no, these are fired. They're just not firing this side of the boiler. Interesting. Oh, cool. Oh, nice. It shows you the explorable areas. Okay. Let's see. Does it show us where we are? So we are in boiler room 5, which is, yeah, okay. So that's, boiler room 5 is all we can explore. 6 and 5. Okay. And the engine room. Parts of the engine room, it looks like. Ooh, and the turbines. Nice. But it says we can't explore anymore. So it looks like accommodations is what's most, that's nice. Accommodations is what's most explorable. Mm-hmm. Also, they could actually get out through the smokestack. There is a passage they can climb up a ladder and go all the way out to the top of the funnel. So there's a couple ways out of the boiler rooms. Got our telephone. So I guess does it just stop us? Is there a force field here? Oh, okay, yeah. There's a coal overturned coal thing, coal bin. That is cool. That is very cool. But yeah, the watertight door would be right behind here, and this in this space is the coal bunkers. This is where they store the coal, really high up in the ship. So they got plenty of coal. They had a they had enough coal they could run for, I think around, if they were running economically, I think they could run for around 2 weeks. Um, I think they can make themselves more economical, and run for a little bit longer. Um, but yeah, I think they can go for. Actually, I think they can go over 2 weeks because I don't think they needed to coal in New York. I think they could just make one coal stop per round trip. I think. All right, let's go this way. The stokers were not allowed to interact with the passengers, so they were always kept away from the passengers. Um, I mean, they were covered in coal dust a lot of times, so they didn't want them really commingling. The crew in general would not commingle with the passengers. Um, this is a little bit. I'm sorry. This is a little. I'm gonna try to slow down because that's kind of disorienting. Um, unless they were supposed, unless they were told to. And actually, so boiler room 6 and 5 that we just came out of, those are the two forwardmost boilers, and those boiler rooms flooded initially. The damage went all the way from the front of the ship. So this is one of the cargo holds. There's um, I think I want to say there's two cargo holds in the mail hold, and then there's a forepeak. So the damage went all the way from the forepeak to the three cargo holds and mail room, um, or the cargo holds and mail hold, boiler room 6, and into boiler room 5. And that was more damage than Titanic. The Titanic could only suffer 4 forward compartments being flooded at a time, and so these spaces would have been flooding pretty quickly after the collision with the iceberg. Maybe not up to here yet, but this would have started to flood pretty early on. And the mail clerks were one of the first to start actually reacting to the flooding. They began taking mail out of the mail hold and moving it higher in the ship to try to save it, not knowing that it was futile. All of the mail clerks passed away. I think there was. I want to say there was about 8. I might be wrong about that. There might be fewer, but all the mail clerks did pass away. This is a crew accommodation. Pretty darn crowded. They got some portholes and they got a nice little picnic table apparently. These guys have strived to be as accurate as they can be. So the planking they try to do accurately. Of course the accommodations, how they looked, what was in them. Yeah. Some portholes. Gosh, think if you had to be this bunk. What a pain that would be. I don't know if they shared bunks. I wouldn't think so. I think that'd be. I mean, I think that'd be gross regardless if you're a stoker. I don't know how effectively they would have had. The thing is, there was only 2 bathtubs on the ship for passengers, or 3. There was several first class that had their own bath, but for the most part, there wasn't a lot of passenger bathing facilities. So I don't know what that would have been like for the crew. More crew accommodations. Jeez, that would suck, man. having to snuggle up with your, I guess having to snuggle up with your shipmate all the time. Oh wow. Okay. Oh, no, no, no. Huh. Okay. This is one of the anchor chains. 2 of the anchor chains. That's cool. When the ship anchors, it's actually the chain itself that, oh gosh, are we stuck? It's actually the weight of the chain that anchors the ship. The anchor is just to help the chain stay anchored. It's the chain that holds the ship in place. Not so much the anchor. That's cool. Okay, it looks like we can go down into that hold. I'm a little afraid of the ladders though, because they feel very. That was very. I thought we were stuck. All right, what deck? We are on this way up. D deck. Okay, we're on D deck. Goes all the way to A deck, and then boat deck. C deck. Okay, let's see where we are. See where we are. Okay, this is the top of the hold. What is this? Oh, is this oh, this is for the anchor. This is the machinery to or for the maybe not the anchor, but for hauling lines? Question mark? I'm not sure, but it all looks like it is steam driven. A lot of the yeah, I think this is for lines. A lot of the I'm by no means an expert. I'm an enthusiast, a Titanic enthusiast, and a maritime enthusiast. I'm not a maritime expert. Ooh, that looks cool, but I don't know if we come back up. We're gonna try for it. Okay, it looks like these are just stores. But yeah, a lot of the machinery on the ship was powered by steam. Um, they had the 24 main boilers were for the engines. They could be hooked up. They had two different steam lines. One would go one port main and one starboard main. And each would power the two main engines of the Titanic. Once that steam was finished doing its work in the engine, it would actually go to a third, not auxiliary engine, but a kind of a secondary engine. It was Titanic's steam turbine. The main engines were reciprocating the giant pistons that the steam would act on each side and push the pistons up and down. Once that steam had been used up in the main engine, it could then be sent to either the condensers to be condensed back into water and then go back into the boilers, the main boilers, or it could go to the secondary engine and it could be used to power the turbine. That would give Titanic some extra propulsion, but they can only use it if the ship was going more than more than 12 or 13 knots. They can only use it when the ship was in a half condition. They needed the engines running at least half ahead before the steam turbine had enough steam to actually be used. Ooh, we got a kitchen. The kitchens, some older ships, they actually had steam heated ranges, but actually Titanic did have coal. So they would have some coal that they would use to heat the ranges and the ovens. So yeah, they did have some coal that they would shovel in to heat stuff up. I think they did some electric stuff as well for certain things. Very cool. Kitchen. I do have a lot of pictures from a Titanic museum I went to. We'll go through those at some point. Did the music die? Hold on, where did our music go? Or is it just very, very low? Okay, there it is. Let me know if audio sounds weird or anything. I'm afraid of this ladder. There's no jump, I don't think. No. Okay, we're down here. Can I make this ladder? Oh, come on. Well, we're down in the one of the cargo holds. Yeah, this would have been flooding almost immediately. Um, okay, yeah. Hopefully, this is something that they. I'm sure that these guys are very 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 good. All right, we'll go up there. Sorry about the. Here, I'll do it this way so it's not as vomit inducing. Maybe. Oh, okay. We'll just do this. Sorry. If you need to look away. Okay, we're already here. We're already here. What is this? Oh, that's just the other stairway. Um, are we just not able to get up there? Nope. Dang it. Okay. Maybe we can't. I know we can get to other. We might have to just kind of jump to another part of the ship, or maybe there's another way. Maybe there's another way. By the way, we are playing the Titanic Honor and Glory demo. This is a game that is it's an indie game right now, which is kind of a tour of the ship. About 50% of the ship is done in this demo. Maybe we can go through Scotland Road. Or here, maybe? Oh, to the crow's nest. Wait, you go to the crow's nest from here? I did not know that. Okay. Oh, it's loading. Okay. That was a weird loading screen. Okay. Oh, this is nice. Oh, this is cool. But yeah, the game is about 50% done. And it's going to be a very, very accurate rendition. They're claiming the most accurate, and I believe them, the most accurate 3D rendition of Titanic. They're going as so far as marking where people's rooms were when they can find it. That information is very hard to find. But yeah, they're doing a very good job of making a rendition of Titanic. But they're also putting a playable game and story. You know, not like a Jack and Rose kind of story, but you know, they are going to add a fictional story as well. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward. They have their bell. I'm very much looking forward to the release of this game. The bell that would signal the bridge. I believe one ring was starboard, two was port. I think I might have that backwards, but three is ahead. So you ring the bell 3 times if you spot something ahead. You can see that they are not far from the bridge. They have a telephone, which they could call the bridge. They would ring the bell and then call the bridge. And telephone, or they could just shout. I mean, they could shout from here. They would have to belt out what they were seeing, though. So the it was Frederick Fleet. I can't remember the name of the other individual in the crow's nest, but there was two seamen in the crow's nest at the time of them striking the iceberg. They were very experienced. And spotting icebergs actually wasn't really at night wasn't considered all that difficult on a clear night, which Titanic did have a clear night. So it's that's one thing that's never there's a couple of new theories. I will say a lot of the like really historical buffs don't necessarily like the new theories, but I don't mind them. But there are some theories that weather did have an effect on the ability of the officers and crew to see the icebergs, because they really should have been able to see them from several miles away. They should have had at least a couple of minutes, if not like 15 to 20 minutes, based on how big the iceberg is or how tall. And we know that it was tall enough they should have seen it miles off. What you'll see is a break in the horizon. And I do like how they kind of have it a little hazy. It wasn't cloudy when the Titanic hit the iceberg. It was clear skies. But yeah, the theory was that there was a little bit of refraction that would have created a haze that you wouldn't be able to see necessarily at night, unless you had something to contrast against it, which they didn't until the iceberg showed up. Which they wouldn't have been worried about the haze once they saw the iceberg. That's cool. I didn't know you can get to the crow's nest, and I didn't know you got to the crow's nest from this space. I thought it would be actually up on deck. So that's cool. But how do we get out of here? I think maybe we have to. Hopefully, we don't have to use the. You know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll try to get up there, and if we fall, we will go to Scotland Road. We can go to Scotland Road. I know we can do that. Let's see if it lets us. No, it doesn't. Okay, so maybe we're just not supposed to go up there. So what we can do is we can go back down. Back here? Yeah. Let me find something else here. We'll skip around in our playlist a bit. I almost never use a playlist. I almost always use game audio, but this is still in demo, so how do we get to Scotland Road? Up there. There we go. Okay, so this is Scotland Road. That runs the whole length of the ship. How? Wait, can we? I'm gonna go up here actually first. I don't know where this goes. That looks like it's closed. And we can't even climb that ladder. And this is what? Oh, this is part of a funnel? Oh, this just leads to the other boiler room. Yeah, this is a part of the funnel, okay. So yeah, the funnel, they're called a funnel because, you think of a funnel, something you pour into. Well, it's kind of that way because if you look at it's like an upside down funnel because you have all the boilers kind of all feeding into that one main pipe. So if you see these, like at the base here, it's kind of like triangular shaped because all the boilers are combining their smoke, and they funnel up. It's like a funnel upside down almost. So the top is actually the most narrow part, even though it looks completely spherical. It's actually much wider at the base. Okay, to Scotland Road. And Scotland Road runs the entire length of the ship, and it was primarily used by the crew. So, okay, so that way I think is aft, I'm guessing. Petty officers. Plumber's store. So you have a lot of crew accommodations and firemen's escape. Yeah, so that was one of the one of the ways you would get out. And we came out of which one? Oh, I'm lost. Okay, this is number 6 boiler room. Okay, there we go. Stairs to F deck. And this, I guess, is a fire main with some hose and a smoothbore tip. They could pump seawater into the fire main. They wouldn't use fresh water. They would use seawater. If there was a fire. There was actually a fire on Titanic. That was actually one of the big. That's one of the big kind of conspiracy kind of, not conspiracies, but theories, I should say. I shouldn't say conspiracies. One of the theories was why Titanic sank. And it was because there was a big hole in the ship. The ship had way too much damage to be able to survive. But there was a fire in the, I believe it was the boiler room 5 coal bunker or 6 coal bunker. I can't remember. It was one of the 2 coal bunkers. Coal fires are not uncommon on ships at all. They, unfortunately, coal is a it oxidizes extremely readily. So once coal is taken out of once it's dug out of the mine, coal will start to oxidize. It'll start to react with the air, and it'll actually start to heat up. And coal can very easily self-ignite. So it's got to be stored very, very carefully. And even when stored carefully, it can self-ignite. So that's a normal, not uncommon thing to happen. It wasn't a big deal. They were able to extinguish the fire pretty easily. I'm guessing these are 2nd class or 3rd class accommodations. I'm not sure. Pretty small, so maybe 3rd class. Let's see. Does it tell us where we are? Oh, skip the points. Oh, what are those? Can we do that from here? Let's see. So we are going to be somewhere around here. Or actually, probably around here. Let's see. Oh, there's the open thing. Okay, yeah. This. Where are we? We are forward. Tracks of White Star steamers. Yeah, they had ships that go all across the world. Very cool. Oh yeah, to anyone watching the VOD in the future, you're not going to hear any music. The music's not going to save the VOD, so unfortunately, it's going to be very quiet for you. That's okay. I don't know. I don't know if this is a crew space. I would imagine this is a passenger space. These tables are kind of nice. I'm guessing it's like a 2nd class lounge. I think the 3rd class was in the aft of the ship above the poop deck. The poop deck. So weather tight door, not a watertight door, most likely. So there's weatherproof doors and watertight doors. Weatherproof doors can keep out storms, heavy seas. They are robustly designed, but they can't hold back a whole lot of water. So if there's a little bit of flooding, like a few inches or maybe a foot, they could hold back that water. But if there is a if the compartment's solid, then it won't hold. Hello, this is Titanic. It is. Hello. This is a Titanic sim. This is a demo for a Titanic sim. They are working on developing it into a full game. So it'll be a sim aspect where you can explore, but there'll also be a kind of a story on top of it as well. If you want to play the story mode, they'll they're not going to have Jack and Rose, but it will be a Jack and Rose esque, um, like kind of fictional story. I think they said they were going to do murder mystery. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's going. They're going for the most accurate 3D rendition of Titanic ever made, and I think they've already got it. They're about 50%. This demo has about 50% of the ship in it. Hmm. Um, and they're killing it. I've watched some of their artists while they were making some of these spaces, and the attention to detail is extremely high. It's called Titanic Honor and Glory. So I'm looking forward to the release. I don't know when the release is. I don't think I don't. Last I saw, they had an announcement. Sorry about that. I'm gonna see if I can find. Let's just Google it. Glory release date. Um, they've been working on it for a long time. Looks like the last recap was from last year, so I'm guessing there isn't a solid release date. But yeah, today, yeah, super sick. Yeah, yeah. Today is actually the anniversary of Titanic's sinking, kind of. 1912, 113 years ago, Titanic struck the iceberg around at 11:40 p.m. That would have been Titanic time. 11:40 on the 14th, they struck the iceberg and they sank at 2:20 on the 15th. So they actually sank overnight. So 14th into 15th. So we're doing a little commemoration. We're taking a look at Honor and Glory. They have about 50% of the explorable spaces available. So we're just kind of going through and seeing what we can see. Has some nice bathroom or head. Are these like old urinals? Got some tubs. Some toilets. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is third class. You could see the tile. Look at the tile. But I know in third class they had, and I think they had automatic flushing toilets. So I think they would have just used the pressure of the I'm not sure how they actually operated. Gorgeous, to be honest, yes. But yeah, no, they had automatic flush toilets in third class. They had like pull chain toilets for second and first, but automatic toilets for third class because in 1912, indoor plumbing was really not all of that common. It would be among the more affluent, but for the most part, a lot of people would use outhouses. So they would just have a hole in the ground essentially. So they added the flush toilets to make sure that that they would get flushed because people weren't used to flushing toilets. They just made it automatic, but only for third class and potentially for the crew. I don't know. I'm guessing this is third class, not crew. No, actually, this is actually Scotland Road, so I think this is crew. I think this is actually crew space. Oh, yeah, it says right there, stewards. So this is a steward's lavatory. So this is crew space. Have a good drive-by joke about a Chinese man and the Titanic. Oh yeah? As long as it's not too as long as that too, as long as it's with the vibe, feel free to share. When I went to Oh, that's kind of cool. So this one is not, I guess, is either out of order or they just aren't finished building it. Um I went to a museum last year, October, in Vegas, and I know I've talked about it quite a few times. Jay, hello. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I was gonna discount subs. I was gonna discount subs. Yo, but Barry, if you wanna share the joke, if you don't want to share it on stream, feel free to DM it to me. Feel free to DM it to me always. Give me a sec. I was gonna put a discount on the subs for today and tomorrow. Um, creator dashboard. I always forget how to do this. Viewer rewards. Yes. Channel points. There we go. All right. Gifted sub is now 2,500 channel points. Let me make sure I have. Okay, yeah, I do have my. You may redeem it. You might need to refresh. The stream. But yeah, for 2,500 channel points, I will gift you a sub. If you redeem it, if you are already subbed, I will gift a sub to the person of your choice or out to the community. It's up to you. Yes. Okay. Hold on. Let me read this. Gift it just out to the community. All right. Let me I got to do that from here. So whatever reason I can't, maybe I can do it from mod view and I'm just dumb. All right. Oh yay! Oodles got it. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for redeeming gift sub.
Gifted 1 subs.
And Jay. All right, let me read this. Oh wow. Okay. Wow. I'm not gonna read that out loud, but that is I've not heard that one before. Jay, do you want that just out to the community as well? And I missed your chat earlier. I'm fighting. Oh, cool, cool, cool. If you didn't know, Jay does what game is it that you use? It's like a I think a double like a is a WWE game. It looks like a mixed martial arts style though. But he has people submit profiles for fighters and then he they like simulate the fights. So yeah, be sure to check out Jay. UFC. Okay. Okay, UFC 5. Okay. I'm not too familiar with the various fighter games. I didn't get your gift sub, did I? Let me do that. And you already subbed. So one more gift sub. Did I miss any others?
Timur just gifted 1 subs.
Okay, who did it go to? Embry. Okay. Hello. Congrats. Thank thank thanks Jay and Oodles. But yeah, feel free to redeem. Those are on sale. Those will be on sale for today and tomorrow. Listening to some harpsichord, it sounds like. This is who is this? This is Marco and Kobani. All right, let's see what else we got here. Another bathroom, out of order. Another cruise bunk, very Spartan. And that's one thing cool is you don't see a lot of like this part of the ship where everything isn't, where you could see the bulkheads, you could see the hull, nothing, things aren't covered up. They do some, some wood paneling, but for the most part, it's very Spartan. You have open, utilities and water and cables running through the ship. The cruise spaces and third class spaces were a lot less. Were not as um, ornate as the second and first class. Third class was still they still tried to make luxurious because um, I think these are passenger spaces because they made actually most of their money off of third class. So they did want to make that as comfortable as they economically could. And we've been in here before. So I'm thinking this is second class. Yeah, we've been in here before. Or is this the same? This might not be the same. No, this isn't the same. But it's a similar space. Let's see if we can. No. I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is gotta be. I think this is third class. But yeah, check it out. The tiles, guys. The tiles. It's just like huh? The tile in our chatting room. So yeah, very cool. This looks like it. I can't tell if this was they have this pattern both as actual tile, and as linoleum. Um, so in the radio room, it was definitely linoleum because linoleum is like a plastic. It's kind of considered cheap now, but back then it was actually new and it was considered nice. Let me. Where are my photos? Try not to dox myself. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I'm trying to open the photo here. Where's it at? Store. Maximize. Oh, you guys can't see it because it opened up on my third monitor. That's annoying. Oh, well, not on my third monitor. It opened up on my stupid Elgato. Okay, yeah. So when I went to the Titanic Museum in Vegas, there's a big Titanic museum in the Luxor Hotel. First person horror game on the haunted Titanic. I think they're doing a detective story. So they'll have a sim, like a they have a sim that's just like exploring, and then they're gonna have, I think it's gonna be detective, like someone was murdered, detective goes on the ship and he's trying to find the murderer before it gets to New York, kind of thing. I think that's what they're doing. But yeah, so in the lower parts of the ship, they would have had ceramic tiles. They're gonna want these to be lower to keep um, the center of gravity and low, and the center of buoyancy is in the right spot. So you want to have your weight low in the ship, and the higher you go up, you're gonna want to use lighter materials. But yeah, this is in the Missouri the museum in the Luxor Hotel in Vegas. Very cool museum. They've brought up a lot of pieces from Titanic using various submersibles. No Ocean Gate submersibles, thankfully, but there have been many expeditions down to Titanic. So yeah, attention to detail. These guys are doing great attention to detail. Love to see it. I'm not sure how to get to different parts of the ship. There is more. I don't know if we have to quit or if there's a way to interact. It'd be nice if you can interact with these skip points. I'm guessing when it comes out, they'll have that options. No. So do we just need to quit? Hold on. I'm probably missing something. Simple. Stairs to F deck. No. Bum, 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 bum. Maybe it's towards the back of the ship. Maybe that's why. No, we already went to the back of the ship, didn't we? Oh, where's this? Doesn't say. This is second class dining. I think this is second class dining. This might be third class dining. I know that third class, the chairs were mounted to the deck because it was in the least, it wasn't as stable as first or second class. So they would rock more. These are actually watertight. This is a watertight bulkhead, and this is a watertight door that could. This one had to be cranked shut. So you see they have a wrench there. They would generally crank them shut. I think from um the floor above. I think they'd have to send somebody up one deck, and there'd be a, maybe we can see it. I don't know. Hmm. Oh yeah, here we go. It says right here, watertight door deck plate. So they would come up here. They would grab that wrench, come up here, and crank that door shut from there. Yeah. And they did. We know that that was documented that that crew were cranking shut those doors. I think this is third class. Olympic White Star Olympic 45,000 tons, Titanic 45,000 tons, largest steamers in the world. Actually, the Titanic was not as famous as Olympic initially. So it wasn't until Olympic's launch was a much bigger deal. Was a much bigger deal than Titanic because it was the first. You know, Titanic was just like it's basically just another Olympic. You know, it's slightly different, slightly different. I think it was like 2 feet bigger or something like that. It was not significantly larger. It was pretty much the same design, just minor some well not minor changes, but they weren't significant changes. And they would decorate with artwork. I think this has to be third class because I think second class was not that big. So yeah, they would decorate with artwork of their other liners and kind of advertise for their other liners. Atlantic Transport Line, London. So yeah, it's cool to see all the safety equipment. Another fire main here. Titanic was not. One misconception is that Titanic was poorly built. It was extremely well built. Tina and me right now. Enjoy, enjoy. This is a pretty random playlist. I don't. This is a playlist. I just add stuff to when I'm listening to stuff, and I'm like, hey, I kind of like that. So it's got all kind. It's got a lot of classical in it because I do listen to a lot of classical style music. But yeah, it's got a lot of random stuff. Another fire main. I find it interesting that their fire mains are pre-connected. I mean, this is I'm sure it's closed because I think that these are going to be risers, so they're going to charge like a whole bunch of these at the same time, and you definitely don't like if that got open somehow, you definitely wouldn't want that to until you got the hose off the hook. Otherwise, it's going to potentially rip itself apart. Another watertight door. And again, it would be cranked from the deck above. I don't know if we have access to that. Yeah. But the crew would go through and they would crank these closed. There'd always be a way up around them if they were closed. Sir Lemonade, hello. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Always appreciate your support. Always appreciate you coming out. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're on the Titanic. We're on the Titanic, my home. This is where I spawned. um, we're on the Titanic. This is a demo of a game called Titanic Honor and Glory. Yeah, this is actually probably second class accommodations. So these are bolted to the floor though. Maybe I had that wrong. Anyways, Titanic Honor and Glory. They are making a extremely detailed 3D rendition of Titanic. Did you commission this game? I wish. I don't have that kind. I don't have that kind of scratch. This is gonna be this is gonna be a full game. Yeah, this is gonna be a full game. Um, they put an advertisement for wait. Oh yeah, they put an advertisement for their project. That's hilarious. Um, yeah, 50. Yeah, they have 50% in this demo. So this is a demo of their game. This will be I haven't seen I don't know if there's a release date for it. But this will be released. It'll be a very accurate historical rendition of Titanic. They're claiming it's going to be the most accurate. It's an indie game as well. Very cool guys working on this. I'm looking forward for the full game. They will have a full game that that will actually have like some kind of story in it, a fictional story set on Titanic. So you're gonna have essentially the time limit's gonna be you need to finish the game before it hits the iceberg, but they'll also have like a free play kind of thing, so you can just explore. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a murder mystery. I think like you're a detective and someone did a murder. I think, and you have to find the murderer. They're on Titanic, but you have to find them before they get to New York. I think that's what the plot's going to be. I'm not sure. I was more interested in the sim aspect than the game, though. I will definitely play the game, and I think that would be a lovely game to play. The devs are um, very well researched, and they're pretty interesting people. So I think they could. I think they can put together a good plot. Yeah. But yeah, today is April 14th is the anniversary of the sinking of Titanic. The Titanic hit the iceberg on the 14th at 11:40 and sank on the 15th at 2:20. Ooh, okay. So what do we got here? These are the engines. These are the main engines. Wait, are these the main engines? What? They shouldn't be this close together. Are these the actually I think these are the dynamos. I think these are the electric dynamos, I think. Hold on. Where does it tell us where we are? It's very hard to see. Reciprocating engine room. Oh no, I guess these are turbine room. Yeah, so these are the main engines. Okay. These are the main engines. Very cool. So these engines, can we go down? Let's see. Oh, nice. Yes, we can. Gosh, these look so small from up there. Some perspective. But yeah, these are Titanic's main engines. These are triple expansion engines. So there's 3 stages of steam. You have big old steam main being built up from the 24 main boilers. We were in the boiler room earlier. Pretty cool, pretty cool. But it's triple expansion because there's actually 3 stages. The steam will go into, I believe it's first will go into, I can't remember exactly, but I actually know. Essentially, it'll go into one high pressure stage where the steam will act on it. I believe it's this third one. Then it'll be vented into the second second stage where actually the piston will get bigger because the steam will be lower pressure. The iceberg is the murderer. True. That's probably true. And then the third stage, it will actually go into the, I believe, first and fourth pistons at the same time, because as the steam pressure reduces, the amount of surface area you need to act on gets larger. So yeah, very cool, very cool. And the reciprocating engines, they push a piston in that big cylinder up there. That piston acts on the shaft. Shaft goes all the way back to the outside the ship to turn the propeller. And this is a direct, so it's a 1-to-1. There's no gearing system. It's 1-to-1. So 1 rotation of the shaft is 1 rotation of the propeller. as well as one cycle of the engine. Did you go to school for this info? No, I'm just a nerd. I'm just a nerd. I just yeah, it's just I'm just a big nerd. But yeah, a lot of ships will be geared. Most ships will have a geared turbine that the your engine will run at one speed and your propeller and shaft will run at a different speed, and you'll use a gearbox to change the to change the speed, so that way you can have your engine running at a very very high speed, um, and your propeller running at a lower speed. Gearboxes are much more complicated though, and often will create a lot. They'll create noise. Have our engine indicators tell us what to run the engines at. So we would raise and lower the steam. We would send commands to the boiler rooms to increase or decrease steam at the boiler. Yep, to change speeds. Very cool. Let's see, what else can we find here? Titanic's engines were extremely efficient. The first stage, they would have pressure up to 215 psi. When it left the last stage, the pressure would be all the way down to around 10 psi, which atmospheric pressure. And I know I don't know the international. I could convert it, but I just this is all in imperial, so that's what I know. um, but yeah, all the way down to 10 psi, and atmospheric pressure is around 14. So it actually takes the steam below atmospheric pressure. And then it takes that residual steam. It's a completely closed loop system. So even though it's below atmospheric pressure, because it's still steam, it still can do some work. So they will run that through a turbine, which I don't know if we can see the turbine. And the turbine actually will take the steam all the way down to 1 psi before they put it into the condensers and condense it back into water and put it back and feed it back into the boilers. Yep. Turbine, we should be coming up on. I don't know if we can see the turbine. Wait, are we going the right way or the wrong way? I think we're going the wrong way. Yeah, we're going the wrong way. So it shouldn't be that far away. Okay, there's engines. Main engines. And this is, I think that's the turbine. Kind of hard to see. This is where the turbine should be. So they had a large low pressure Parsons turbine. This, I can't tell what this is. Maybe we can get a better view. Another watertight door. Close in case of water. I doubt they would have bothered closing these. Once the water got back here, there's really not a lot you could do. Titanic did have some gates to kind of close off primarily passenger and crew areas. There was some instances where they were used to keep the third class passengers out, but it wasn't like there was always a way to get to the boat deck from wherever you were on the ship. So there were definitely cases of people being trapped below decks, but I don't think the way it was kind of depicted in Titanic, the movie, I think was a little bit dramatized, but certainly people did get trapped below decks, and the third class passengers were discouraged from coming up on deck for quite a while. I don't know what this is. Some kind of Probably junction box to run the lighting. It has kind of a liminal vibe to it. Has a liminal vibe to it. MD, hello. Welcome in. Hope you enjoyed the God of War. Liminal vibe to it. I can imagine it'd be pretty easy to make this into a horror game. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it could be a horror. Jay said that earlier. Jay said that earlier. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, I don't think they're doing a horror game. I think they're going to be doing a detective game, but oh, we're on the Titanic, by the way. Anyone just joining us? We are on board RMS Titanic. This is a demo of Titanic Honor and Glory, where they're building a very, very accurate 3D rendition of Titanic, and they're going to set a game. They're going to set a game here. But they're also going to have a sim where you can just explore the ship. Let's see. This is a passenger space. I'm not sure what passenger space. We are on the aft end. This would be, I'm pretty sure this would be a third class space. Because I know that their lounge area was above the poop deck. And I think that's where we are. Or below the poop deck? Yeah. And this is the poop. So yeah, I think this is all third class spaces. How are we on the Titanic when it's in the ocean? Grits a hello. Because we on the ocean, see? When it's in the ocean. Oh, we have some kind of hot tub time machine. We just went back in time a couple 113 years. This is the poop deck. Notice all passengers are not allowed on this deck. Screw your rules. This would always be manned. This would always be manned 24 hours a day. So this is the docking bridge. So they can give commands on their indicators. So they have engine indicators here, as well as indicators for the tugs and for throwing lines, so that they can ring the bridge and tell them what's going on or what they're doing. They could also steer the ship from here as well. When the ship was underway, they would pilot the ship from the forward bridge, but they could steer the ship from here, and they could also use this as a backup steering. So they had a helm in the bridge. They had actually multiple helms on the main bridge. They had a pilot's helm, which a pilot would use as they were coming into port. And that was outside of the wheelhouse, so the pilot can have a clear view. It's not even covered. What if it's storming? Well, if it's you'd have to be out in the weather. You'd have to be out in the weather if you're docking the ship, and it allows them to see. They have pretty unobstructed views from here. So yeah, you just have to be out in the weather. If it's storming too bad, they wouldn't try to dock. If they couldn't even be in the weather. If it was so bad they couldn't be in the weather, they would just anchor and wait for the weather to calm down. See everything but the iceberg. Yeah, yeah. When you're at sea, you're gonna be on the navigation bridge up forward. When you're docking the ship, you're more worried about hitting the dock than hitting an iceberg. Is this where we came from? Yes, this is where we came from. Do we miss anything else? Just some picnic chairs. See, they totally could have put some more lifeboats back here. Shame, real shame. Got a lurk. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming by. We'll be hanging out on Titanic. I don't know how much more there is to see. Um, we are gonna back out. See if I know we haven't seen any of the first class stuff. So thank you for the lurk. But we're gonna hang out in Titanic for a while. We might look at some pictures and probably play something later. Let's see. First class promenades, the baths, second class officers only, crew forward areas. We started in the boiler rooms, post office and baggage. I think we saw that. We've been through much of third class. Let's go to second class. MD Gamer? He's a fellow streamer. He's a fellow streamer. He's playing
Hello there.
hello there. Radio Demon, hello. He was playing which we'll be playing actually before too long. They were playing God of War. God of War, yeah. Hello, we're on Titanic. We're on Titanic. This is Titanic Honor and Glory. It's a demo of this is a demo of Titanic Honor and Glory, and it's a highly accurate 3D rendition of Titanic. Yeah. Welcome in, welcome in. And yeah, no worries. Second class, huge step up in luxury over third class, but third class was still nice. Third class was still nice, but this is a huge difference, obviously. Ooh, the tile is so shiny. I think this is going to be the linoleum tile. I don't think this is going to be the ceramic tile. Ooh, so fancy, so pretty. Okay, so yeah, we were just down there. Oh, we could have just gone through here. I'm dumb. There's a so aft deck. That's where third class was. Okay, got some nice lounge chairs. You can hang out here. In the days before, a few days before cell phones were available, so you gotta just chill and vibe. Mm-hmm. Let's see. We meet again, Look Mao. Yeah, Kurtz is hanging out. Oh yes, yeah. You had to spend some cheddar for first class. And yes, this is Dax. This is a cipher, so I think it's gonna be a bunch of different artists. But yeah, this is Dex. This is what is this? It's Crypt. Crypt Volume 3. Um, yeah, I like Dex. First class ticket range from 45 to oh my gosh, $125,000 dues. Second was 17 and 2000. That's pretty good. That's like what a plane ticket to you can get a plane ticket to Europe for cheaper. You can get a plane ticket for around 1500. Nigeria, you're probably looking closer to 1700. Yeah. So that's not second class isn't bad. Third class 450 to 900. Psh, that's easy. That's good. Dax spits. Yeah, Dax is Daxzilla spitting hot fire. Why are you giving people my price? Okay, we're on the boat deck. So it's boat deck is the top deck, and then you have A through G deck, and then the tank top, which is the very bottom deck. Yep, these are Titanic's lifeboats. Each could carry 65 full-grown men, so more if mixed men with women and children. It was tested with 65 men, or they were tested with 65 men. Have these Wayland davits that would be crank swung out, and then loaded with passengers. They were not electrically lowered. They would have they'd have men holding onto the ropes, lowering them by hand. She had 14. Titanic had 14 of these lifeboats. Plus, she had 4 collapsible lifeboats and 2 cutters. The cutters would be used. They're up forward. We'll take a look at them here in a bit. The cutters would be used like if someone went overboard. They would be able to rapidly deploy those, and they were just easier, smaller, and faster to navigate with. Gotta expose the scalping prices. No. Can fly free. I'd rather not fly or sail. I do want to go. This is the end of second class. Second class promenade is here. The third class was back aft, above the poop deck. And then first class was from here on forward. So first class had the most promenade space, even though they had the fewest passengers. Actually, no. I think second class was actually smaller in the number of passengers. I think there was by far the most third class, a smaller second class, and then a slightly larger first class. I think. I might be wrong about that. See some of the air handling on Titanic. They had both forced draft, so they'd have a fan that would force air into the ship. Or I think this is they would force air into the ship. They would also extract air out, but they didn't have air conditioning per se, but they could move a lot of air to keep the ship ventilated. Since the Titanic operated primarily pretty far north, it really didn't need air conditioning, or it wouldn't have if it made more than one journey. But it did have central heating. Not central heating. It did have heating. It had electric heaters throughout the ship. Plus, they could actually get some heat from the smokestacks. They put them kind of strategic. They kind of ran through the middle of the ship, so some of that heat would actually help heat the ship in some cases. I wish I wouldn't be in apartment. An appointment? How are you? Yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. Oh gosh. Sorry, I had a little crash there. um yeah, that's unrecoverable. Hold on. Give me a moment. Had a little crash. The boat's sinking. Yeah. No, we struck an iceberg. Hope everyone's doing well. I think we'll finish up our little tour of Titanic, and then we might do some gaming. We might do some gaming, and then we might come back to Titanic a little later. I have some other stuff. I have some pictures from my trip. A lot of you guys have seen them, so. But we'll probably kind of bounce back and forth to keep things fresh, keep things refreshed. Give me a moment. I have a dual PC search. I can't speak. I have a dual PC setup. So my gaming PC crashed, but we can keep stream going, which is kind of nice. It's nice for these occasions because it tends to be your gaming PC. Games crash. Tends to be your gaming PC, so streaming PC crashed. Well, we would be out of luck. We would be crashed. Give me a moment to bring things back up. And we'll get right back into it. Okay. Also, friendos, don't forget, for today and tomorrow, subs will be on sale. Subs will be on sale. So, if you have 2,500 channel points, you can redeem gifted sub. I will gift you a sub. If you already have a sub, I will gift one out to the community or to a person of your choosing. I do have a limited number of redeems per day, but yeah, we're still a ways off. We're still a ways off. Each person can only redeem twice, but there's a hard cap. So you've been sick? Oh no. I had a little cold. Nothing too bad. Let's see. We're gonna pause that there. And give me a moment to get everything back up and going. My setup's kind of a pain. Setup's kind of a pain. First cold in 5 years. Well, that's good. That's good. You got a strong immune system. Yeah. But yeah, I don't get sick often. But when I do, I'm dead. Oh, they're not going to release another demo after this. Okay. Whoops. Whoops. Hold up. Oh, this is going to mess up my audio again, isn't it? Hopefully not. Dang it. It did. Gosh darn it. Okay, let me see if that really messed up my audio or not. Let me know if there's anything weird with the audio too, if you would. There won't be any audio right now, but actually it looks like it's fine. Okay, yeah, it looks fine. Do a quick audio check. Okay, sorry about that. Saw a TikTok on the other days of a couple guys deep sea fishing, and one was in a scuba suit. The guy saw a submarine and said he got out of the water right before the sub sent. Ooh, yeah. Yes, sub sonars have crazy amounts of energy. For it to be deadly, I mean, you don't want to be near a submarine when it's emitting, and it shouldn't have been emitting where there was scuba divers. Um, but yeah, you definitely don't want to be near a submarine when it's emitting. You do have to be pretty close to for it to be deadly. Um, but just because it's deadly doesn't mean it's not going to hurt you. Let's see, dude. I'm starting to hate my country more and more. My meds went from covered to 4. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I had a beer. It's cure. Yeah, sober year. Congratulations, man. Sorry about that. You might reach out to your pharmacist. Um, reach out to your pharmacist, and they might be able to find you an alternative, like a different brand. A lot of times, um, a lot of times it's weird how insurance does stuff. Like certain brands will be covered and other ones won't be. So yeah, you might reach out to your pharmacist. A lot of times your pharmacists are really good at that. Like pharmacists are a very underutilized resource. most people rely on their doctors. A lot of times for meds, pharmacists are actually a better resource than the doctors are. Like the doctors obviously need to prescribe it, but in terms of like, those sorts of things, even like if the medication isn't working as well, and you tell your doctor, hey, this med isn't working. A lot of times the doctors can help with that, but pharmacists often can help better than doctors in a lot of cases. And pharmacists are also doctors. They're not medical doctors. They're, but they do have doctorates. They do have a very high. They're not, it's not just they're not just pushing pills. So that they do have their doctorate. Yeah. That I feel. Oh yeah. When I get sick, I feel like the world is ending. Yeah. I don't get sick often though, thankfully. Um, Probably say to yourself, "This is enough." Like, don't get lost drunk. Yeah, that's not how it works, Radio Demon. Submarine is maybe 60 to 80 feet away. Yeah, definitely that's generally going to be survivable. But yeah, wouldn't want to test it, and it's still you're going to get hurt at that range. But I'll be honest, over the years, it's never one drink. Yeah. Yep. This mix of meds works perfectly. Oh yeah, psychiatrist even told you this one's out of your hands. It's out of insurance. Okay. Even so, talk to your pharmacist, and they still might be able to get the insurance to approve it. Yeah. But yeah, sorry about that. Or they might be able to find a discount program. Pharmacists are often pretty good at that. Let's see. Where? Let's just go. We'll go second class. Because that should get us back to where we were pretty quick. Pushing through. Positive, I'm still alive. Yeah, it's not. Having to deal with getting your meds approved it sucks. Sorry. Oh. Sorry. Music came back. They don't save their settings apparently. Though the music isn't bad. Having no income. Yeah. How do we get back up? Oh, here we go. So yeah, we already been through here, but we crashed, so we're back at 6th class. We'll go this side. We'll go the port side. Left is the port side. That came from way back, like at least to the Vikings. Port is left. You would dock your Viking ship on the port side, on the left side, because on the right side of the ship was the starboard side, or the steerboard side, where they had the tiller. On Viking ships, it was kind of on the right hand side, so they call that steerboard side. That's where port and starboard comes from. Oh, okay, it crashed again. Okay, I think we are probably done with this part of the demo because it takes so long.